Hey everybody on YouTube, Karl Alexander here, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at the new Fallout 4 DLC, Far Harbor. Let's get into it.
Fallout 4 Far Harbor was released for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Windows PCs on May 19th, 2016. Developed by Bethesda Game Studios, Far Harbor is the third DLC for the 2015 game, Fallout 4. It features a new storyline, new weapons and armor, and the largest DLC landmass in a Bethesda game. The launch price is $25. Like almost every Fallout DLC before it, Far Harbor starts by adding a radio station to your Pip-Boy. This station comes from the Valentine Detective Agency, and assuming you've done the detective's previous quests, you can start the DLC immediately. The story revolves around a father hiring the agency to find his runaway daughter. You discover that the daughter Kasumi has been in contact with a synth refuge, after coming to believe that she is in fact a synth, who replaced the real Kasumi. The synth refuge is located in Far Harbor, and her father gives you his boat to find her. Once you arrive, you're free to explore the island or follow the story. Far Harbor itself is a New England fishing island that has been inhabited for quite a few generations, even after the Great War. At some point, because of nuclear fallout, a radioactive fog has enveloped the island, causing animals to mutate and fishermen to go mad. Also, because of the fog, the previously seen children of Adam have taken up residence deep inside the island, believing the fog to be holy. The children of Adam dislike the fog condensers, which are protecting the local population from the harmful effects of the fog. This causes tension between the two groups. Complicating this is the synth community of Acadia, which Kasumi escaped to. These three factions make up the major conflict of the story, and your decisions will determine the fate of each. The story is good, but I couldn't help but think I had seen something like it before. Far Harbor has been criticized by the community for being too similar to Fallout 3's Point Lookout. The similarities are pretty obvious, such as the darker look and feel to the new area, the cultist groups inhabiting the island, who send you on weird spirit journeys, and even finding someone's daughter being the catalyst for the entire story. But really, these similarities are only on the surface. Far Harbor's story is much more in depth and has a lot more going for it. If the similarities were used as a callback, it may have been a bit too soon. Fallout fans have a long memory, and it comes off as rehashing old ideas instead of an homage. The actual narrative is well crafted and features some interesting characters like Acadia's synth leader Dima. He's a conflicting character that seems to want peace between the factions, but is also hiding his own past. Other groups like the Children of Adam have redeemable people but are being led by a crazy zealot, and the Far Harbor citizens are understandably anxious about both groups and want to protect the island they feel is theirs. Each group's motivations are relatable in some way, making the decisions you have to make more difficult than the ones in the base game. Your allegiance to groups like the Brotherhood of Steel or the Institute can also have an impact on Far Harbor, depending on when you start the DLC, which is a pretty cool addition. However, I was disappointed by the story's lack of detective work. Your original goal of finding Kasumi is quickly accomplished, leaving the rest of the quest being about island politics, and not the original detective type work. Don't get me wrong, as I've already said, the story is really good. I just thought we might be getting a story with more retro future detective type quests. The entire ad campaign had a very mysterious vibe, and little of that remains in the finished product, which is too bad. As far as gameplay is concerned, compared to Fallout 4, nothing much has changed. Some new enemies have been introduced, new consumables, several weapons and armor, and many perks are also available. The island also features 4 new places that can be turned into settlements, which can actually be connected to the Commonwealth, which is a really cool feature. Though the core mechanics of Fallout 4 are pretty much untouched, the game does include several dialogue skill checks for things like intelligence and perception, unlike the base game. However, don't get too hyped. The checks are only in 5 or 6 conversations, so though it regains a bit of the RPG credibility Bethesda lost, it's not a game changer. Another cool feature is having a follower tag along with you on your DLC adventures, which is a welcome change from Bethesda's previous games. Most people recommend taking Nick Valentine along since the main story of Far Harbor features some new background on Nick. And though it is interesting, I didn't feel like it was as essential as many made it seem. If you don't take Nick along, you will miss out on some conversations, but it didn't really blow me away like some reviewers said it would. Guess it's just personal preference. Performance in the DLC has been on par with the rest of Fallout 4, and actually I would say it held to 60 FPS better than the base game, at least on Windows. However, after watching a great video by the channel Digital Foundry, the same can't be said for consoles. The volumetric fog effects cause some serious reductions in frame rate, and when you're already capped at 30, any loss is going to be noticeable. Check out their video in the corner for a good console performance comparison. And before this review ends, I have to talk about one of the worst gameplay decisions Bethesda has ever made. Okay, that's an over-exaggeration, but this shit pissed me off. At some point, you need to access some synth memories. These memories are protected, so you have to solve some puzzles in a cheesy sci-fi version of the synth's brain to unlock them. The puzzles themselves use the settlement build mechanics for moving blocks around to solve. This is fine and works okay, but you can't save. And though there is no penalty for falling off the simulation, the segment has an infinite load bug, so at times you can solve a puzzle and exit to save only to have your game crash. Because of this, I spent almost 3 hours on 5 puzzles. This isn't just my issue, my girlfriend's copy did the exact same thing, and I've seen several posts about it online. And shit, besides the bug, just look at this. If I take the menus away, it doesn't even resemble Fallout. It's so out of place, it looks more like Minecraft. It's not even the idea of the simulation that bothers me. We've seen that in Fallout before, but in Fallout 3 it matched with the retro 50s futurism of the series. This is just terrible. It's a stupid distraction that was tacked on because the creators thought it was cool. It doesn't serve a good purpose for the story and introduce mechanics that are only used once. I hope someone with modding experience can edit this entire section out. But I don't want this to end on a down note. Far Harbor is a solid piece of DLC and is what Fallout 4 fans have been waiting for. It provides a ton of new places to explore and gear to find. It features a solid main storyline and great side quests. I've ran into some bugs and glitches, but nothing that ruins the overall experience. I would have liked a more stylized look to the new area, but overall the presentation is still really good. It's got some great new tracks from Enon Zur, and the fog effects can create some really atmospheric scenes. So far, I've gotten 20 hours of gameplay out of Far Harbor, and personally I would say that justifies a $25 price tag. And with at least one more pack on the way, the original $30 season pass is finally looking like a good deal. However, Far Harbor's success shows what fans really want: expansion packs. I hope in the future Bethesda sees that fewer and larger DLCs are what Fallout and Elder Scrolls fans are looking for.
Okay everybody, that was my video for this week. I hope you liked it. If you did, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, think you know what to do. Leave me a comment in the comment section and hit that subscribe button if you want to see more videos like this one in the future. Coming up soon, I'm going to have a video on a little indie title called Kona, I think it's pronounced. And sorry that I don't have a tripod right now. As you can see, I've been playing around with a friend's HTC Vive development kit, and so I didn't have a tripod. I had to use it for that. So maybe I'll do a video on that. I'm not really sure. It's really janky to set up, so hasn't been, you know, the greatest experience for that. So I might do a little audio thing on that, but I'll see you in the next one.